Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, we're going to continue on this 1931 Ford Model A pickup that we dragged out of a barn about 6 weeks ago, something like that. Got a couple of videos under our belt. First one was kind of like an assessment after the rescue, and then I think we got one or two kind of wrenching on it. We got it to run on the last one. You had to take the cylinder head off, the distributor drive was busted, and a bunch of other stuff. So we got that kind of ironed out and took the carb on the last video. It was the last thing that we did. We soaked that, tried to get that to rejuvenate or free up or whatever you want to call it in an ultrasonic cleaner. Here it is. But it's got issues. The choke plate is still frozen in place, and more importantly, the throttle plate is totally frozen in place. So we got to try to get those freed up and get that carburetor back together, because the end goal is to try to get it so that this thing at least yard drives, or drive itself in and out of the shop by firing up the key. So let's keep moving forward and see how we do. All right, let's get working on that carb. So if you didn't see in the last video, we soaked this in an ultrasonic cleaner with a carb cleaning solution in it and heat. This is the first time that I've ever had this problem where it's totally bound up. Didn't even try to help it. I have a feeling our best bet is probably going to be heat. It probably would have been a good idea to try soaking this before we left last week. But that's how I roll. Let's give her a little bit down there. And with that throttle, I think the throttle's a little bit tighter fit on the bore because you don't want to leak around there. But let's just see if we can get any rocking out of the choke part of it. So it needs to go. Not sure. Generally, sometimes you get like a little bit of play in it. The play will help. There we go. Once you get play in it, then the fluid can kind of work its way down inside. Yeah, hopefully the other one works that well, but I have a feeling it's not gonna. Just a guess. The way these come apart, choking the throttle. This shaft is gone through the center of it. It's got a couple of set screws down the middle, and that plate comes out almost like a cracker. It's wedged in the middle of that shaft. If you were to take that out of there, there's a slot in the middle of that. And then you can pull the shaft right out of it, clean the shaft up, put it back in. Who's making jokes? All right. That one should be fine. This one, on the other hand, think we'll have that same luck? No. Like I said, the sides of the choke are not that important if it leaks. If this leaks around the sides, it gets it'll screw the mixture up, so they're kind of built a little bit better. I can just get to even budge. That's the pliers moving. That's not good. That sucks. I did not expect that to break that easy. Well, our work just got a little bit more cut out for us. This has a set screw. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's a screw down the middle of that plate. But the problem is you can't get that plate out until you rotate it some. So unfortunately, we are going to have to try to get that bore out of there, and then we're going to have to figure out how to repair that. I'm not sure if that's brass or steel. It's brass, that's why it broke so easy. Alright. It is what it is, right? Can't cry about it. You impressed so far? Yeah. Generally that set screw doesn't come out that easy because you don't want that to fall out. All right. So I am going to try. Now we can get fluid in there easier. I don't know if I want to put a little bit of heat on that, and we want to try to, we got to turn that butterfly this direction to get it to slide out. Let's pop it in a vise. and give it some light heat. Should have done that to begin with. See if that did anything for us. Problem is that plate's gonna bend on us. I don't think it's moving a little, but I don't think the shaft's moving at all. I think it is all because the screw's out of it. I don't even have anything to grab it on now. Like a candle. Sometimes you get enough heat in it and you hit it with the fluid, it kind of draws it in. It's probably going to burn up right now. Yeah. Let it burn off for a sec. Has like a capillary reaction from the heat. It's moving. Good sign. No, I should have went for that to begin with. Heat is your friend. Sometimes. So if I can get that to spin wide open, then I can slide the plate out and drive the shaft right out of it and clean it up. And it's going about half. It's warm. Yeah. Well, I'm going to keep working that. You don't need to keep staring at me. I'm going to keep working that. Eventually I'll get that to free up where it goes straight up and down. We can then pull the plate out of the center of it. So get that to stand up a little bit more. Almost there. That's straight up. Let's see if it'll move. A little bit of brass rod action. I wonder if it has to come the other direction. The bore may taper down. Maybe trying to remove that backwards. Yeah. 3 strikes, I'm out, right? Try driving that the other way. Oh, it's good they have to pay me more. flush with it. We need a little, maybe the putty knife will get in there. Too wide. Need something to get down there. A little flat screwdriver will probably do it too. There it goes. That's on the floor, and it's hot. Yeah, now you can see what I'm talking about. That's the plate, the throttle plate we worked out. Now, see how good our chances are that this is going to move. Going. Yeah, that was not going to come out without a fight, that's for sure. That's warm. A little bit of height. Almost there. Yeah. Need about another 1/4 inch. Story of my life, right? There we go. It's free. I'm gonna go take this on a wire wheel. We're gonna go clean it up, and we'll get that lever on the side here, and we're gonna see if possible if we could fix that. Not quite sure yet. Yeah, it's brass. Had I known. And a little wire wheel action. Definitely have to clean up the bore of the carb. I think that's where most of the damage was. There wasn't much corrosion actually on the brass. We're gonna have to get in there, even possibly with like a drill bit. But you gotta get that so it's free. But my main concern right now is, are we gonna be able to save that? The answer is I do not know. So we'll probably do is we'll punch the center of that out of there. And I'm wondering if we can braze it. It's really the only thing we can do. We can fill and braze right in the center of that, build it right up. Not sure. I'm going to look upstairs real quick. Some carbs that I got, but they're going to be later stuff, just in case something is similar to this that we can work with instead of trying to repair this. I decided to try to get this functional with the shaft that was in it first. And you see how much binding we are. Found the drill bit that was probably the closest to it. Fits about the same. I think what maybe we'll do is put the drill bit, we'll run it backwards. We don't want to cut any threads in it. I just want to clean, whatever carbon's in it. So let's use that for some lube. Run it backwards and see it. There we go. It's got that side. I'm not, it doesn't have to be free all the way down because I'm sure the center of that is opened up. Let's see if we get the other side of it. I want to see if we have any meat left over for space. It's hitting a wall. There we go. All right. I'm going to tap that back in and center it. Should free up when it goes into its spot. There it goes, yeah. And there's a little bit of a shoulder left on it. Not enough to work with though. It's pretty flush. Yeah, so we're going to have to build that up if we use that one. I found a VW carb, but the center screw for the butterfly has 2 instead of 1. I'll show you. So I was thinking about taking that one out. As you can see, it's got 2 in the center instead of 1. It doesn't have a choke. I'm going to look upstairs real quick for the choke one, see what that one looks like. I think that one's got 2 on it also. Yeah, I took that other carb apart. This is the shaft out of that, and of course this one's steel. But we are, it would be close. That's the bore on the plate. It's tighter, I think. That's probably a tad tore up a little bit. I mean, worst case scenario, I think we probably could whittle this one into being what we need it to be. But I think before we start going and chasing all that, I want to try seeing if we can repair this one first. Yeah, I know. So that is a TIG welder. I bought that about 15 years ago, used. I've used it once. Didn't have very good luck with it. There's a rod called silicone bronze, which kind of, hopefully we'll be able to build up on the end of that. But before I mess that up, I got some brass rod here I cleaned off the top. I'm just going to play a little bit and see if I can get myself to be able to get a bead that'll stick up on there. So I'm going to not bore you because I don't even know what my settings and all that stuff are supposed to be yet, and play around and see if I can get that, and then hopefully if I can get anything to work on that, we can copy and build up a little bit on the tip of that and then just kind of grind it away a little bit. Wish me luck. There we go. I touched it. Probably just sitting on top. Yeah, it's on there. Did I contaminate the tip? I think I did. I'll keep practicing. Need something to lean on. Need something to kind of float me in the air. Evaporated it. Problem is too, I don't have any flux. Well, I was able to get a blob stuck on it. So there's that. I think if we can kind of do that on the other one. Not coming off. Alright, I'm going to set up and go in. Nope. Just eviscerated the end of it. Well, I don't know if that's going to be a issue. It's got a separate hose on the inside of it with a shielding gas, or does it run along the outside and then there's just a wire on the inside of that? I think I have a slight leak on shielding gas. What gives it away? I don't know. Yeah. I can see that right inside there is just metal. Well, there's your problem, or one of them at least. That you don't use it for 10 years. So I don't know if you want to call that trial by fire. I built up a bunch of material. Of course, I had a big blob on the top of it, so I stuck it in a drill and went over to the grinder and just kind of gave her a little bit of shape that resembles. You know, we'll fine tune as we go along. Let's go put it back in the carb and see if I just kind of melted everything away, and that was the original length of it, or if I have enough material to work with to cut down for that little key. I don't have the plate cleaned up, but it's in with the hole in the plate. The rod is actually a little too far that way, but trying to show what I have exposed. And I got it built out a little. That's not nowhere near enough. So I'm going to try to get it a little bit further. Again, some flux would really probably help us a lot, but I don't have it. I'm going to keep trying to pick away at that and see if I can build up on that a little bit more. Well, it may not be pretty. Just kind of, I didn't put it all the way in, just kind of centered that hole over it. Made sure that we had enough to work with. And I think I should do it. Where's the... So now we got to whittle it down so that has a V that fits over there. We can either peen it. The other thing is too, we could probably even just take a little bit more of the TIG on the outside and fill it, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. I'm not worried that it's missing a little bit of material here because we're going to grind that off anyhow. I hope. It's like it's stuck on there pretty good for a hack. Alright, I'm going to keep whittling away and I'm not sure when I'm going to bring you back. Alright, so here's where we are right now. A little close up. So I notched it with a file to match up with the lever behind it. And like I tapped over, mushroomed the top of it a little bit. I can work it. It's still kind of floating on there. You can push it around. It's a little cockeyed. But I wonder if we might be better off firing up the TIG welder one more time and trying to make a little puddle on top of it and attach those two. That's kind of where I'm shooting right now. Now, hopefully, that little puddle that's sitting on top of there isn't just sitting on top of there. I think we got it. We'd like to get a little bit more around there, but I'm not going to keep messing with it. I don't want to lose it. When we hit that on the wire wheel, we'll tap on it. We'll make sure that everything's nice and solid, and then we're going to go call that for a win. Try to get it back in the carburetor and see if we succeeded. And we have I would say that worked out pretty good. Who's your daddy? A little bit of play in there, which is decent. Yeah, you didn't think I was going to get it, did you? Neither did I. I like a good challenge, and that definitely was one. Yeah, stuff's beat up a little bit from hammering on it and beating on it, but it's got a good seal all the way around for idle. Is what you want, and then, you know, as long as it can go to full throttle, all it's doing is letting air in. So, and it feels nice and free, a lot better than what we had before. All right, I'm gonna go jump ahead and put that carb together. I think you've seen enough of me screwing with this that we can kind of move on to something else. So I'm gonna go button this up. Unless I find something goofy, I'll bring you back, and we'll just go from there. We got it all back together. Looks pretty good. That is our throttle, and the choke works off of that rod that pulls up. This is also the air fuel mix. You turn it and you pull it for the choke. I had to bend this out just a little bit because it was popping off its alignment there. So let's go pop it back on the car. The gasket's a little iffy too. You can see the air gap there. I think it's actually the top of the carb. You got a bit of a bend to it where the screws are. So we'll see if it pisses out of there or not. A couple of gaskets in there probably wouldn't hurt. Let's bolt it back up there. Let's go turn that gas on and see what we get. Hopefully it doesn't come pissing out. That valve was real good, huh? These things are terrible. I hear it trickling in. Hopefully it stops. It's not pouring out anyway, that's good. So I got a jumper pack hooked up to it. We got to put power to the coil, and we got a start button somewhere. There it is. There's our, let's make this crank. Let's okay, get spark to it. I think we're good. Yeah, I think the float shut off. Let's give her a crank and see what we got. We could probably leave it. That's gonna be the choke. We'll give her some choke and the throttle. Maybe we'll run that up a little bit, get it up off of idle. Until I suspect it's gonna fight us a little bit, you know, until we dial it in. That should be enough. All right, pop you in a stand, give her a crank. Uh-oh. That I was afraid of. So, the float is over, so I can give her a couple of love taps. I did shut the fuel off, so. Well, that sucks. Is it gonna stop? Let me turn this back on, see if it starts really pissing. Yeah. Definitely gonna need a carb kit. I looked real quick to try to get one. I didn't see one, but we'll just add that to the list. I guess for now, I don't know if we got it or not, but what we can do is we'll shut the fuel off. So let's keep doing that. I'm gonna give it a few minutes. I'll let that evaporate just a little bit. You know why. Hey, you got a good seat? Let's put some power to that coil. I already forgot which side was the hot side. I'm gonna say it was that side. That should make it so we have spark. And see what we get. Come on, baby. Oh, yeah. Turn the choke off, it died. Kind of sounds what a Model A should sound like, huh? Let me go turn that idle up. I'll give it a little bit of throttle. I was adjusting the air fuel mix. It wasn't really seem like it making much of a difference. I have a feeling we have blocked exhaust because I know there's a leak. Turn the power off. There's a leak on the manifold. The gasket's totally blown out right there. So it's punching it all out of there. Let's go see. It blew a nest out before last time we ran it. See if we got any more material that's kicking out of it. Because it seems like it's pushing an awful lot of exhaust right out where that leak is on a gasket. My opinion is it shouldn't be that loud. Maybe that's why I can't rev up. Let's go pick her up in the air a little bit and maybe we'll cut that muffler. I think it's kind of screwed up anyway. Let's go see. Yes, that's what's blowing out. See all the mouse crap up inside there. I have a feeling, another acorn. They have a weird angle on it. There, can we even see anything in it? Let's go with the bore light. Yeah. I have a feeling it's probably right inside that muffler is a big nest. Huh? Who's this? The Plymouth that came from that same location had that same problem. I wonder if we could just take this clamp off and we'll let the exhaust kind of hang down without trashing it. The other one was shot on the Plymouth. This one looks pretty good. It's stock, except for that. That's not quite. I don't know what you want to call that. It's a 90-degree turn. Yeah, let's go take that off again. We'll give it a shot again and see if it'll kind of spin a little bit. It just sounds like it can't breathe, you know. Might need a wrench. Think we gotta do them both. I think we can go whack that with a hammer a little bit, get it to open up. Come on. And that pipe is down. Any nesting up in there? I don't feel anything. All right, let's give it a shot with that off of there. So we'll turn that gas line on too, see if it's still gonna leak over. Yeah, go gas on. Plus I probably used up whatever was already in the flow pole. Could bump that timing too, is the other part we didn't turn the distributor. Okay. Alright, let's go put power to the coil, give her a crank and see what it does. Okay, something funky happens, you want to be able to catch it, right? Alright, power to the coil. Let's see if it sounds any better with open exhaust. That's gonna be loud. Turn that gas off, it's dripping. Last thing I want, I have exhaust and dripping fuel right next to each other. Let's give that a second and let's go bump that timing a little. I think we can do it by hand right here. Yeah, let's try that. Got open flame and dripping gas out. Probably the gas ran out of it. So we're definitely gonna have to get a carb kit for it. Let's go give her another crank. So the idle speed should be that one. I'm going to run it all the way in. Come out about 1.5. Yeah. Then this one should be just when it's up off of idle. This should not make much of an effect. Let's go run that one all the way in. Run that one out about 2. That's the one, hopefully, you know, when we rev it up, we should be able to fine tune that one. Gas is on, it's not leaking. It may seat itself eventually. Let's go turn the idle screw up a little bit, just so we're up off of that So it'll kind of stay running, you know. Think that'll be enough? Let's try that. Alright, I don't want to cook it. She'll go. We can probably throw that pipe back on in a little bit. We do have to take that manifold off of there at some point anyway because that gasket is blown out. Let's get some cooling hoses on it and get some fluid in it so we don't bake it. We got, I think it spins okay. I grabbed a, we'll throw some oil on these. This one should be an oiler right here, if it'll open. I grabbed a new belt for it too, so we'll throw that on there. We'll get some coolant in it and see how that does. This fan's got a grease fitting there, and that should be an oiler, is my guess. That would be oil or grease that you put in there. It's getting oil. Well, that feels like it's not going to get anything. So let's just go give her a little manual in there. I think if we spin it over a little bit, it's not bound up, so I'm not worried about it cooking itself. There she goes. She's already turning like butter. Just needs a little bit of love. I don't know if the packing's going to be any good for the water pump, but we'll find out when we put coolant in it. Oh yeah. I'm gonna throw a belt on there. And I think we just need the upper radiator hose. The bottom had a drain that we drained it. Little valve. I'm not gonna put antifreeze in it quite yet, because we don't know what we're gonna get. So, plus, it probably wouldn't hurt to have a flush. And a hose that's on. I tried putting a new belt on it, but I couldn't get it to go on. The generator only has about 1.5 inches of movement on the swing because it's a 12 volt instead of a 6 volt, so there's not as much room for it. So the old belt's on it, but it's real sloppy. I can't get that one tight enough. We'll worry about that later. I think once it spins a little bit, like the belt's got like a memory to it. Sitting so long, I think once it moves around a little bit, it might be okay. I don't see a puddle on the floor yet. I think the next step to that, if we get this kind of squared away where it kind of runs somewhat, we will shift over to that fuse box. Come on out. Right. We have water. So I'll back you up, set you up, we'll fire it up again, and we'll see what we get. I think the carb might have stopped leaking too. Turn the fuel back on. Uh-oh. Now we're leaking. Where are we leaking from? So much for the fuel. We need a light. And that's why we put water in it. Might be just a pat where I So I'll leak it from the water pump. It's down low somewhere. The pat I was talking about is right here. Yeah, that pisses right out when we turn it on. Well, let's go fire it up anyway. We'll see what we get, and we'll lift it up in the air. We'll go try to find out what that leak is. Might be the radiator itself. Yeah, looks like it's dripping right from there. All right, we need gas on and power to the coil. That is loud. All right. We'll have to leak will seal itself up. Run a little. Let's see if we can deal with that muffler. Maybe we'll blow some air through it, make sure it's clear. We can put that pipe back up and kind of shut it up a little bit. I think to check, I'm going to take a air gun. We'll shoot it in the tailpipe with a rag wrapped around it, and we'll see what we get blown out of that end, if anything. Probably need like a vacuum cleaner or something, a little bit more volume. I don't know if I can spin it around. It's blowing some kind of crap out, but air is going through it, so maybe we'll just throw it back on and grab the ball bag out of it. It'll push out whatever in there. You try the exhaust of a vacuum cleaner. Yeah, it's got way too much restriction. It's got a nest in the muffler. I think we got one. Oh, you got some kind of spring-looking contraption up there. We'll get the whole exhaust off there. We'll just kind of, maybe we'll hammer it on the floor or something, try to shake it loose. How was that put on there? Is that two of them? Just the clamp. All right, we'll get that bolt out. Well, I ended up cutting the tailpipe part of it off anyway because it was kind of screwy. Plus, we can take a straight shot right down and look inside, and just as suspected, yeah, she's full of nest. So I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe I get a clothes hanger, put a bend on the end of it, dig it out, or try hammering it on the floor. See how much comes out of there. But yeah, not much exhaust is gonna come around that. Not my version of a glass pack, right? More acorns. Yeah, it's packed solid. You have to get something to get in there and dig it out. I think that's got it. I didn't see his carcass anywhere, so he must have made a run for it. I'm gonna hit it with the shop vac real quick, try to suck some air through it. As long as the air flows decent through it, we'll throw that back on, try it again. While we're under here, I want to take a peek and see what was pissing. I don't see anything anymore. don't know what it was. I was thinking it was this. Maybe I overflowed it and it was kind of leaking out of that trough. It was dead center though, wasn't it? Yeah, it was like right in the middle. Huh. I got the muffler, a couple of bungees holding it for now. I'm gonna go up there, throw that clamp on there, and then take them off and we'll fire it up, we'll get up the temperature, see what it does. Carb seems like it stopped leaking for now. I think I'm throwing that air cleaner back on too, just so that, you know, fuel is right there and fire's right there. At some point they're not gonna play well together. The only thing that leaks over here is the stupid valve. I'm taking the air gun, blow some of that dry. Let's go fire her back up again and see how she sounds. Maybe we can let it get up to temperature. All right, now it can breathe a little. Still has that blown out gasket on the manifold. At least it's blowing through. We flooding over, you think? Go shut that fuel over. Can't see it because the air cleaner's on. We're not out of gas, are we? I don't think so. I see air bubbles. Yeah, might be out of gas. That's why it's not leaking. Because it ain't got no gas in it. Unless we dribble it all over the hot engine. What can go wrong? As it is directly dripping on the coil. Again, air gun, blow some of that off. All right, how about now? Bang, bang. Well, I'm gonna let that run for a little bit. Let it come up to temperature, see if we got any issues with it. Sure, don't have any wires that are gonna burn. That's loud, huh? It's alive. We'll give her about 5 minutes or so, see what it does. That's warming up a little bit. See if we dial it in a little. adjustment. Still have to adjust that timing. We don't know where that is yet. It's getting warm. Leak it now. Go put it up in the air and take a look. Overflow hose right there. Must be inside the radiator. It's running out. So it's just overflow. There's a bolt sitting inside there. See it? I just sticking my finger in there. My brain is rattling. Yeah, so there's an overflow. It must be inside the radiator, or maybe it's just under this and I don't see it. So the water level is just coming up to a certain amount and pushing out the hose. No leak on anything. That's good. Yeah. Like a regular radiator. Yeah, probably underneath the shroud is a hose going down to the side of it. Good. Let's see if we can deal with that fuse box. We have nothing working. We have to jump wires to coils and things getting to work. No key switch works or anything. And I believe it was that lower fuse box was a pile. Last video we cleaned it all up, tried to get in contacts, but like there's no power from here to the tab. You know, this part's good. It's just the rivet in the center is no good. Let's take this whole fuse box right off and bring it on the bench. See what we can do with it. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's hot, but it's not terribly hot. I like what it should be. I didn't hook the generator wires up yet neither because I wasn't sure if it was 6 volt, 12 volt, negative or positive ground. I'll probably put that on too. There we got that fuse box out. It's the aftermarket. And so this is the bus bar, I'm going to call it. And this powers up that whole side with one wire going to it. And then each link goes across. There was 3 circuits on it. And of course it goes across the fuse and powers the other side. If something shorts out, it blows the fuse and no power to the other side. So this, no matter where I touch this, on this side, that meter should go to 0. We're reading resistance. And that top one, nothing. This is where the other fuse was. Nothing. That one, nothing. So each one of those contacts are crappy. I think one of the ones that weren't being used worked. That one. That's the only one that works. All these other 3 do not. I'm wondering if we can take maybe we'll just take like a soldering gun. Maybe we'll lay some solder across these and just bridge that gap. Because what it is, it's got like a rivet inside it. And I'm sure like this has all corrosion in between where that pin is, and it's just not conducting. Because I think if we put a meter, I think it was conducting to the lower half. Maybe not. Yeah, that one works. So this part gets it, just this part is not getting it, and that's through that rivet. Let's try the last one. So in any event, if we solder right across these, right here, it should work for us. Let's give it a shot. One thing I'm worried about is gluing the screws down. I guess the only one that's really going to matter is you can get some solder to melt. See if the iron's hot enough. There's flux on there too. Look at that a second. I guess because we only need to put power on one of these screws, so even if like I solder this one down, we could still put the power on this one that's not having any solder across it, because we're just going to energize this leg. Probably check that other side too, huh? This side, make sure they're all working. The funny part is that the box that's on top is exactly the same. And all those work. I don't think this iron's getting very hot. It's kind of cold solder joint. Now you can fix that, don't you? Your iron's not getting hot enough. There's a fix for it. Give it a little extra helping hand. Let's see if that'll do it. How about now? Sizzle in there. Get in there. Make contact. That one's got. Well, you need to plug it in. Instead of with a torch. As long as it bridges to that tab, that's fine. Go to this last one. Hopefully the screw will stay loose. Gotta have a screw loose, right? Does not smell like bacon. All right, let's go test those with a meter and see if they're good. If they're not, we'll make it good. All right, so we want to plug into the strip anywhere. Turn our meter on. You see? Now you can see. And hopefully each one of these, that one's good. That one's good. And that one's good. Let's, I'm gonna go pop 3 fuses, put them across, and just make sure that where these are, we have a good contact while it's out. And let's go see if that works. Nothing. Yeah, we may end up doing both sides. Make sure we're still working. Here we are. That one works. I think that one works. Should work at the fuse, right? Yeah, that one's a little iffy. This part is good. That part's not. We probably should just hit them all then, huh? Yeah. Because that works there. Not working there. Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go try to run some flux down where the rivet is in the center and then try to make those have contact on the other side. Well, that's why we checked it. All right, how about now? That one's good. That one's good. And we'll call that close enough to be good. Just the looseness of the screw. Yep. All right. Go put that back in. See what comes alive. We power it up. So I hooked it up. Something's making noise. We got a fan. Sounds like a dash fan. It's getting faster too as it goes. It turns that on. There. We know what that does. Don't know what that does. See if it'll crank. That's not a crank. How's that? I don't still know what. The ignition doesn't have a like a detent on it, so it's not the ignition switch. Oh, I think it would be that button. That's either that or for the horn. So I got that. Yeah. Nothing saying that. What about that one? It's gonna go ooga. That's not doing anything neither. Should turn that switch on. Nope. And a lot of this stuff I don't think is hooked up because they redid it That's going to be advance. We're going the other way. Never know, right? Yeah, so we still don't have crank anymore. I thought we had hazards working before. Nothing saying that those upper circuits aren't working. Oh yeah, nothing saying that. See if we blew any fuses too. That's that bottom one. Oh, they look okay. That one looks a little like it's got stuff inside it. See it? Inside the glass. Nah, it's good. Alright, so I'm going to go poke and hope. This is the same as being hooked up to the battery. This is the terminal coming from the battery up to here, so that's why I just do it there and there. And now all the regular electrical stuff should work. I'm going to take a meter, see what we got going on top. Is that bottom one blown? Yeah. I'm going to go probe across them and see if I got at least continuity, if not power. The test light, and it's going to show that we have power, right? Wherever we touch. It's got 12 volts on it. It's going to light up for us. Why isn't that one lighting up? Why aren't you playing? Really? Did I lose that one? You little bitch. Because the blob of solder just fell out of it. The first one I did kind of cold, and then the second one I went over and hit with a wire wheel. I hit these with a wire wheel real good in between. Got a good solder joint. The bottom one, I guess I didn't. I'm going to go clean that up. But anyway, I was getting nothing up here at all. So nothing is powering. Let's go throw that fuse back in there for now. Not quite sure what runs on that circuit. That might be our crank circuit. That might be what's dead. But let's get the little red jumper wire. This should energize that. There we go. And let's go test. So power's not going to that strip. Let's just go see if each one. That light's getting me, I know. That one's good. 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 Just make sure it's getting it on the leads. That one's good. The light's up there. Not there. Starting to see a pattern. And then that one lights up. So that one is no good. And the bottom one is no good. You knew I was going to just have to do them all anyway, right? After some solder joint cleanups, let's see what we get now. Got crank. That should be spark. I don't know if we got any. Let's see what we get. Let's go give her a little bit. One of these is a functioning gas pedal now. I think it's that one. There we go. No jumper wires on anything. No choker, nothing on. All right, so we got that. I think the only thing we have a problem with is, okay, so that one's fan. What does that one do? I don't know. So we got right directional, left directional, if you can see it in the headlights. They're flashing away. Taillights would be, I don't think these are doing anything anymore. That's going to be advanced. A lot of that stuff's been disconnected. So what would headlights be? You do this before? That's hazard. That's both the front ones going. I would think it would be these, wouldn't it? Let's click that on, see what we got. Anything in the rear going? Nothing out back. And the 4-ways for the front. I don't even know if they would be connected to the back anyway, right? So that's hazards. And then if you click that off, that falls back in, and it's just the left and the right side, and that seems to work. What do we need to do? How about that? You think that horn's working? Oh yeah, it's gonna go. Come on. I don't quite think that's supposed to how it sounds. It's supposed to be more kind of wooga. Alright, so that's that. What we have for headlights, I don't know. Is there more like positions? I don't see any more switches, do you? Is that a switch? What's that right here? No. I thought we saw that last time. Sorry about banging your head. I thought we saw him and had him last time. So that's crank. That's the Wooga. What about right down the center of the steering column? Actually, that's it, right? Well, we got to the point where at least, and try and get it closer to the point where at least yard drives. So we can hop in. Adjust that timing a little. There we go. Like that. Nice. Look at that leaky manifold. It'll shut off, start with the key. Gas pedal works. So we still got the fuel system to deal with. We got the exhaust manifold. Of course, we still have to do a rundown of brakes and all that kind of thing. But we're getting closer to what we need. We still do not, for some reason, we lost power running to this one. So wherever this black lead comes from, which I believe is the feed for it, nothing's coming out of it. So not quite sure how or where we lost that, but it's not working. We might use that other toggle switch that we don't know what works. We'll hook it up to that worst case scenario. But it looks pretty decent. We got no wire going to the coil. You know, the ignition turns on and off. It cranks from it. I do not think the carb is leaking. I think it's decent. Our fuel line leaks like a sieve. Yeah. Comes right through the plastic right there. Piece of crap. Anyway. Yeah, so we got to deal with the manifold. Gas tank. Cleaned it out. Needs a good bath. This is not mine. I don't own it. For those who are not aware of that. Let me get that light out of your eyes. Yeah, for those who haven't seen the other videos, just a quick backstory. This is not my truck. I am doing kind of like a barter with it. And my goal is on my end to try to just get it to the point where you can jump in it, turn the key, hit the gas pedal, fire it up, and yard drive it. I'm not saying that, you know, everything's going to be 100%, but that's my goal of what to get it to. Again, pretty close. Again, we still have the brake system to go through. That manifold's got to come off, fix that exhaust leak. Still chasing a little bit of wire demons in it, but you know, of course, it's getting closer with it, and it's getting there. Pretty neat old Walt of a truck. A friend of mine's dad sent us some parts just in case. for the distributor if we have any more issues with that. Seems like it's pretty good though. We have a couple of spare distributors and bits and pieces and cables and stuff to go run that. So he hooked us up with those pieces. And maybe after he watches this video, he may be sending more stuff if he finds it in his stash to bring it back to life. But for this one, guys, I think we're going to go cut it. I got some other stuff coming in. It's pretty cool. I got to go chase tomorrow and pick up. And then I got some stuff that I need to get addressed for winter. This is a summertime, you know, toy to go play with. I got some stuff that might be a little bit more pressing to deal with snow. So I'm not quite sure what the next video is, but for this one, I think we're going to go call it. I want to thank all you for hanging out with me. It takes a while, you know. You pick away all those little things, little troubleshooting things. Not like a TV show where they restore a car in 45 minutes on a video and it's all done. Just real life. All right, guys, I'm rambling. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you soon. Later.